Now, let's talk about something that I'm quite curious about, and I wanted to ask you this, because when I look across the sector, you clearly look like you're playing in your league somewhere. And I wanted to ask, what's your competitive advantage?
I think that's a good question. I think our competitive advantage is very clear. The network.
Okay.
We are the only international bank that is in Asia, Africa, Middle East, Europe, and Americas.
Yeah.
It's a very big competitive advantage. When you get investors coming into Kenya, when investors want to come into this country, you want to talk to somebody you know.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe they bank with us in China, or they bank with us in Singapore, or they bank with us in India, or they do business with us in the UK. That is a big competitive advantage. So we're always ensuring that we are fully lined up in terms of the way they operate, because some of them may have their global offices in America, or in New York, or Washington, or in London. So we ensure that we've got a team that can support them there. That is one. Two is mobilization of capital. Because you're in this market, you're able to mobilize capital. When you look at how much you're able to participate, if you look at, for instance, the recent infrastructure bond, and you see how much foreign investment came through us into the government paper, it's a big number. We estimate between 20 and 21% that came through us. Just taking our portion, because that's all we could see. And taking our portion, how much we submitted, and how much came from foreign investors. So we're able to mobilize capital, whether it's in such a scale or for big projects. We've been able to do some really big projects, even across the border in Tanzania, because of mobilizing the international capital. I think that's important. The second area, competitive advantage on the affluent segment. We believe we've got a competitive advantage there. It's a segment we understand. It's a segment that clients want really personalized service, that understand what they need. So we invest a lot in training our people to be able to give the advice and to be able to offer them the level of service they need. And then finally, technology. Technology for us is important because it underpins what we are doing. That is what people want to be able to do, banking or investment all the time at their leisure. And we want to ensure that they can be able to do that.
Wow, lovely. Let's talk about, still on the same thing, on leveraging on your competitive advantage, having that global touch. I'm looking at Africa. When you compare the Americas, when you compare to the Europe and all that, Africa looks like it's somewhere coming up. I don't know what you've noticed, but I'm seeing a lot of openings. For example, the Africa Free Continental Trade Area and all that. What are you looking at? Is there a strategic move that you're looking at to ensure that you leverage and grow the growth on African side?
We believe that African free trade area will be a game changer for the continent. Because currently Africa is not trading within itself. It's below 15% of the trade that happens across Africa. So we believe that treaty, when it's finally ratified by all markets and comes to fruition, it will be a game changer for the continent.
Very true.
Because if you think about it, why should we be doing, if Ghana or Nigeria or Uganda across can manufacture things that Kenya can buy from? Why not? Why not? Why do we need to go thousands of kilometers? So it will be a game changer. And for us, we are well positioned. We are very, very well positioned. And we've seen some clients who use Nairobi as their head office, and they have started going to, first within the East African community, and for some even across further out, whether it's West Africa or Southern Africa. That to me is important for us, and we are well positioned for that growth. We are very well positioned because of the way the bank is set up. We are set up to follow the trade corridors. Very well set up to follow the trade corridors. And we see that a lot of the clients, when they want to move across, they want to have one conversation. Yes, you have a business across Africa, headquartered in Nairobi, you want to have one conversation. You don't want multiple discussions in the various markets. You just want to have one conversation. And we are well positioned because that's exactly how we are formed as Standard Chartered as well.
As we come to a close, talking about sustainability, and in two parts here. One is sustainability of your results, because of course your shareholders, first of all, are happy. You mentioned about the dividend as well. And what's the promise? Because we just want you to keep growing.
We know the demand will always be there. And we really appreciate there's a pressure from the shareholders that look, I'm giving you a return, and I have to compare the return.
Please mention it. I want to hear the dividend for them to know.
I want to ensure that the investment I've given you, I'm going to get a better return elsewhere. So we are really pleased that we could offer. We'll be putting forward in the AGM. The board will be recommending a dividend of 23 shillings. That coupled with the interim dividend of 6 shillings gives 29 shillings for the full year 2023. So we are really pleased with that result, and I'm sure their shareholders are pleased too.
Impressive.
How do we ensure this is sustainable? Is being very clear what we want to do. I think being very clear, this is what we'll do, but also in strategy, being clear what you can't do.
Yeah.
I think it's always the most painful thing, because it's always very easy to be everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you're everywhere, then you're not able to offer sustainable returns. So we believe that Kenya has opportunities. Kenya is continue to grow with the Kenya Kwanza government and the challenge and the options they are putting on the table, trying to attract investment to this country. We shall benefit, and we will continue being in the forefront of ensuring that we're helping the country benefit. And that is what assurance we can give, the sustainability, ensuring that we are sticking to what we must do, and then protecting what we've got and building on our capabilities and continue to invest. Because a business, you must reinvest. You cannot fail to invest. I think that's the only assurance we can give.
I'm concerned, by the way, not actually concerned, because it was a positive. You looked at your tailwinds and you said, wow, we have an onward way of probably ensuring that sustainability, which is the one that really makes you happy that we are still progressing well.
I think that the main tailwind that I really see well is the global economy opening up. I think that's important, because we've seen Middle East, Saudi Arabia was not a player, a big player. Saudi Arabia has become a big player now. We can start seeing the government deals that the two countries are undertaking. So when we start seeing that corridor opening up, we have a bank, we have Standard Chartered in Saudi Arabia that we went very recently, which is doing phenomenally well. Again, that's a corridor that is opening up. When we start seeing whether it's the US, again, the economy starting to get better, Europe again, inflation coming down. We are really ingrained in the global economy. We are really in the global economy. So when those economies do well, Kenya starts doing well.
You're right. The other day, I saw some very colorful pictures. You did some sustainability report, I believe, and I wanted you to highlight one or two things in it, and what's the promise on ensuring that your bank is running sustainably.
I think one of I want to highlight is in our operations. For instance, in this building, 97% of our waste is recycled. So we've got a very all the waste that we produce is recycled. The water we use in this building, in our bathrooms, is recycled water for the bathrooms. So we are managing that. And then we've just put in our car park solar panels. So during the day we use solar energy. So we are very proud of that. And this building and all our branches have been certified as plastic free, and so we do not single use. You'll never see a bottle of plastic in our water. So those are some of the initiatives we are taking to ensure that even us as a company, we are a responsible company, and we're able to demonstrate we are doing something internally to ensure that by 2025 we are carbon neutral in terms of the emissions that we emit. Yes.
Fair enough, and I want to end by asking you this, because the movement to sustainability is not a simple thing as well.
It is not.
It's also a costly thing.
Yes.
And I noticed your cost as well had an impact a bit. I think at 20%. Is that part of the reason why, or maybe you want to expand on that?
You have to do it. It's when it comes to matter of sustainability. Climate is real. What you're talking about, what is happening in the world today, the threat from climate change, because of what we do, is real. So you cannot say it's not a cost. It's about the future. It's about doing something for the future. And saying, I will make sure that my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, not forgetting my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren will enjoy the kind of something better than what you've said. When I was growing up, I remember Mount Kenya was always snow-covered. Mount Kenya is not snow-covered anymore, especially some certain times of the year. So it's a question of, will they see a snow-covered Mount Kenya, or will they just see a bare rock? I think that's important. So we don't see it as a cost. You must do it. It's a cost of doing business, and you're investing for the future. That's what we believe in. And then in terms of the 20% growth in cost, a lot of that is driven by continued investment in technology. It's our competitive advantage. We will continue investing in it because we believe that's what's going to be that's what our clients want, and that is what gives us a competitive advantage. So we shall continue investing in that space as well. And then there's operational costs, especially for staff, performance pay increases, because you have to manage inflation and all that. So we are pleased, but most important, it was positive jaws of 3%, 23% revenue growth and 20% cost growth. So 3% revenue growth. Cost jaws. That is important. Very important.
Wow, I could have asked more questions, but time is up. Thank you so much for your time, Kariuki, and congratulations.
It's a pleasure.
There you have it. Kariuki Ngare, very optimistic and saying, listen, we still have more room to even do way better, especially for the shareholders. Thank you so much for your time. I live in Abu the Markets.